Mo Salah, who won the Golden Boot alongside Heung-min Son for his goals in the Premier League, was voted the Football Writers Association Player of the Year as well. Jamie O'Hara there saying he is the best player in the world, Cass. Do you agree with that, is he?
I think he was in the first half of the season, yes. I don't think he's been the best player in the world in the second half. I mean, if I give you the numbers, Nat, he got 22 goals in 27 games up until the Chelsea game, which was the turn of the year. So he was absolutely flying. And then after that, he's got 9 in 27.
Yeah. It's quite a drop, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's got 22 in 26 games and 9 in 27 in the second part. And OK, he went to the African nations. So he played, he missed basically a month. He played about 5 games in the African nations. But Mo's not played as well. But he's a tremendous player that I know he's going to get chances. He'll get a chance tonight, Mo. And you hope he takes it, because early in the season he would have easily. He was very, very clinical in the early part of the season.
We know with the strength and depth now that Liverpool have, particularly up front, that Jurgen Klopp can make changes, and often those changes can still be as fruitful as the three, let's say, that started. Is, though, Mo Salah always first name on the team sheet when it comes to those forward options? I think if you're going to pick out the 3 or 4, because obviously Jota's included in this as well, and Roberto Firmino's coming back in, but if you're talking out of all the forwards, he's the one that Klopp always selects, really, out of most. And he seems to have this real belief. And I think Salah is a player that will always cause problems for teams, because defenders hate playing against him. He wants to run behind them. Even when he's not playing well, he'll still do the things that make him such a great player. And that will be, even if sometimes he miscontrols things, but he never stops trying to do it. And I think that's the thing that Klopp really loves about him, is that there isn't a switch off with Mo Salah. It's never going to be, it's not happening for me today. Don't give me the ball. He always wants the ball, always. And I think that's what, for me, stands out with Salah, that you are going to select him. And also because his defensive qualities out of all the players, and a lot of Liverpool forwards do a lot of work, he will help Trent. His relationship with Trent is extraordinary. Trent can be, with Mo, an attacking winger himself, because Mo will chase back. There was games at the end of the season, Mo's ended up at right back. And literally, and Marnie will do it as well when he plays that position. We've seen, but Mo does that the best. And I think Klopp is really reliant on him doing his defensive duties that allows Trent to be such a weapon for Liverpool as well. That right side has been extraordinary for Liverpool. That's taking nothing away of Robertson down the left, whether Mane or Diaz has played there. It's just that right side just causes teams so many problems. And you have mentioned already about that, the Trent Alexander-Arnold and Vinicius, and that sort of fascinating flank, if you like, the battles that they're going to have. So Mo Salah is, if he plays,
he's
which
key
we
to
expect
this.
him to, exactly.
Well, it's Mendy, Vinicius against Salah and Trent. And I'm on Trent and Salah. I think they can cause them more dangers and more problems.
Why are they going to cause them more problems? Because we know Vinicius can do it.
Both will do the... But Mendy's not as good as Trent going forward, without a doubt. Nowhere near as good. He does a role that Vinicius is incredibly dangerous, because he's so quick, and he'll go either way. He'll go inside you and he'll go outside you. But I think Mo will help, obviously, Trent out in these scenarios that are going to develop in the night. But also, he allows Trent to get in positions of danger. Mo does that brilliantly for him. Their relationship's incredible. A little bit goes under the radar because we talk about their individual ability, but as a team, they work in tandem brilliantly, Mo Salah and Trent. Incredible. As good as any fullback winger I've seen in the game.
And that just comes from time and working together.
It's just, look, Trent is so gifted. And Robertson's got different qualities, just as effective on the other side. But that right side, to me, is the biggest threat for Liverpool. And it might one day, because Diaz has been improving and looks like an incredible threat now that it's balanced it out slightly. In recent weeks, it looks like it's been balanced. Certainly in the FA Cup final, you'd have made that. The left side was more dangerous. But generally, over the course of the season, that right side of Liverpool has just caused havoc to teams.
It's all set up so nicely, isn't it, for this final? Like you're saying, there's all these intriguing little battles. And like you've always just pointed out there, so much is always talked about what Trent Alexander-Arnold does, what Mo Salah does as individuals. But we kind of forget, as you
They work in tandem.
Yeah.
Brilliantly.
It's all these little things that make this final so fascinating. As a neutral, certainly, I'm not sure how you're feeling right now, Cass. How are your nerves right now?
Well, my other half, my missus, has gone to Ramsgate. She's took
That's worked out well for you, hasn't it?
And I'm like, I don't mind if I'm on my own. I really don't mind. I just want to enjoy it. I've got to do some work on the game. And look, it's hard because you have to give a unbiased opinion. You can't go ahead and just say, well, look, Liverpool are this and this and this. And, you have to be fair because working in industry, but you just can't be so biased towards your team. But I know what Liverpool can do. And I really believe that Real Madrid, even though it's by hook or by crook, have got through this competition. I don't know how. Because I've never seen a team get through like they have so regularly. We talked earlier, to the Real Madrid guy who's an expert on Spanish football, and he talked about, they've done it 3 times. They've also, what we forget, that they were, in all of them games, 2 goals behind. They weren't 1 goal and just turn it round.
So, yeah, absolutely.
They needed 3s and 2s. It's like, how did they do it? I still
that's
to this
the thing.
day don't.
In the knockout rounds, they haven't kept a clean sheet, obviously, because you just point that out.
Well, Chelsea go 1-0 up in Madrid, and they, at the first game, which they lost, and then they turned it around and got to 3-0, and then now they're ahead in the tie, and then it goes 3. And it was just amazing. They've always against Man City, they were 2 goals behind, weren't they? Because they'd lost the first game.
It's always been a 2-goal deficit that they've
PSG
had to
was
fight
the
back
same.
from.
PSG was 2. They needed to come back from, and done it.
As I mentioned, because it seems obvious to say it, they haven't kept a single clean sheet in the knockout rounds, but they've scored 14 in the knockout rounds as well. It's been quite extraordinary for them.
I've done the same piece, and I said, stop Benzema.
Yeah.
Hope Courtois don't have a great game. Vinicius is a problem on the left, and don't let Modric get too much on the ball and do all the passing. And every one of them ties has panned out that all of them have done exactly that in the three games against PSG, Man City and Chelsea. And it's the same tonight. It's like it's Groundhog Day saying, don't let if you stop Benzema scoring, you win. There isn't anybody else that can win them a tie for his goals because he's been instrumental in that. There's others that cause problems, but Benzema is the one. If you can stop him, and hope Courtois doesn't play as well as he has done this season, because Courtois he's made amazing saves as well, by the way, that have gone a little bit unnoticed. In these games they've got through, he's pulled off big saves.
It's the big one coming up tonight. It is Liverpool against Real Madrid. It is live on talkSPORT.